Hey, I'm Joe. This is Out of Shape Music, here to talk about all things music. Odd and more experimental records have always been an interest and appreciation of mine, especially ones that are often regarded as stepping stones in a specific genre. Trout Mask Replica by Captain Beefheart and his Magic Band completely fulfills this interest of mine and is a trip to say the least. The bright red and strangely terrifying album cover is a sign of what you'd expect from a record like this. Captain Beefheart, known as Don Van Fleet, was a singer, songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, and visual artist who had a rotating ensemble backing band called the Magic Band. Captain Beefheart recorded 13 studio albums between 1964 and 1982 with the Magic Band, causing him to grow a large cult following for his absurdist lyricism, idiosyncratic rhythms, and all-around fascinating musical style. In fact, many new wave, punk, and experimental rock artists from the late 1970s onward highlight Captain Beefheart as a major influence. After coming up with the Captain Beefheart persona and releasing Safe as Milk in 1967, and Strictly Personal the following year, Captain Beefheart was dropped by each of the record's labels following both of their releases. It was at that point where Captain Beefheart signed to Frank Zappa's label, Straight Records, where they released what is often regarded as Captain Beefheart's magnum opus, Trout Mask Replica, in 1969. Don Van Vliet also went to high school with Zappa at Antelope Valley in California, where the two became friends as teenagers. Nevertheless, the album itself combines a wide array of genres, including garage rock, free jazz, and blues, all of which with an avant-garde approach. It was recorded from late 1968 to early 1969 after the group spent 8 months rehearsing in Los Angeles. Zappa led production for most of the record, where much of the instrumental portion of it was done in a single 6-hour recording session. As a result, the recording itself is mixed really oddly, with some vocal tracks being so efficacious it's almost as if your speakers are going to collapse. To say it nicely, the record is horrifyingly abhorrent, but in the best possible way, at least for me. At the time, the album initially sold poorly, as you can imagine, with the level of experimentation not common for the 1960s. But looking back, many regard Trout Mask Replica as a critically acclaimed record that is a clear, significant work of experimental music and art rock. The opening track, Frownland, is a perfect manifestation of the record as a whole, with advanced polyrhythms and experimental time signatures over Captain Beefheart's raspy and boisterous vocals. The subtle and off-filtered humming vocal intro of "The dust blows and the dust blows back" leads the listener to believe something more severe is to come. Dachau Blues furthers this strained vocal delivery style, as it's even more in your face and unsettling, with the demented instrumental barely audible compared to the vocals. The devilish groove of Ella Guru is almost as if you took a 1970s Isaac Hayes track and detuned all of the instruments. The lo-fi horns of Hair Pie Bake One lead into a musical display of an acid trip, making listeners feel confused about where they are in life and what they're doing in general. The ear-wrenching fuzz of Moonlight in Vermont has one of the few easy-to-remember melodies of the record, and at this point you're only 13 minutes into it, and there's still plenty of material left. From beginning to end, the record is baffling and will most certainly sizzle your brain. After all, there are 28 tracks on this record, making it a full 78 minutes and some change long. Aside from the odd musical production of the record, lyrically the album is extraordinarily surreal and filled with obscurity. My smile is stuck. I cannot go back to your frownland. My spirit's made up of the ocean, and the sky and the sun and the moon, and all my eye can see. I cannot go back to your land of gloom, where the back-jacked shadows. What? Fall back in dark. Pie steam stale, shoes move broom and pale. Moon in a dime store sale. As challenging as those lyrics are to pinpoint, some of the tracks were painfully topical while discussing serious topics such as the Vietnam War and even the Holocaust, with Dachau Blues and Steal Softly Through Snow, respectively. Now, if you've never heard Trout Mask Replica before, I do have to warn you. As great and intriguing as I and many others find this album to be, it is a difficult listen. Even by today's musical standards, it's a very polarizing record, meaning you'll fall on one side or the other. After all, Don Van Fleet supposedly put his Magic Band through literal hell by forcing them to stay awake for long hours to mentally break them down while recording. And you can hear it through the record. It's chaotic, and it's no surprise the backstory of the album is what it is. And still, even with the album coming out over 50 years ago, it still remains one of the most challenging and ambitious projects to ever come out in the rock spectrum. I implore you to at least listen to it once and see how you dig it. Also, the record isn't on any streaming platforms for some strange reason, but you can either find an expensive physical copy or just view it on YouTube. So, what do you think of Trout Mask Replica? Let me know in the comments below. Also, check out the description for links to this channel's website where I have blog posts and other content regarding music. There are also links to Out of Shape Music's Instagram and Twitter, so give those a follow if you want to stay updated with the channel. Thank you everyone for watching. I really do appreciate it. I'll talk to you all soon.